The Gambian government temporarily suspend all political and social activities. Powerful hailstorm hits Gambia as the air could be seen tinted off-white throughout the day. And Gambia prepares ahead of its 56th independence tomorrow. This and more coming on Gambia24. Stay tuned. Good evening, you're watching Gambia24 News Bulletin with me, Mariama Cham. Thanks for joining us, and now the news in detail. The Gambia government says it will suspend issuing police permits for all political events and other forms of gatherings in the country effective 8th of March 2021, according to a statement from the Office of the Government. Cognizant of the worrisome trajectory of the COVID-19 in the country, the move is aimed to contain the spread of the virus, the release added. Accordingly, the government will in due course outline a more detailed statement governing the upcoming restrictions and their regulations. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health urges the public to adhere to the COVID-19 guidelines such as the wearing of face masks, hand washing, social distancing, and limited gatherings. From that update from the government spokesperson now to the Gambia government, in collaboration with the United Nations World Food Programme, on Tuesday launched an emergency relief package to provide food assistance to over 300,000 people in the country. The support is aimed at contributing to the mitigation of the social and economic impacts of COVID-19 by providing temporary assistance to rural households in the selected areas. Naisisi has more.
This assistance comes at a time when the country is witnessing a gradual resurgence in the number of COVID-19 cases. More than 40,000 households are expected to benefit from the package, with each household to receive a 50-kilogram bag of rice in a month for a period of 4 months, beginning from February to May 2021. The nationwide assistance will be delivered in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and the National Disaster Management Agency. Speaking at the luncheon, Ami Fabre, the Minister of Agriculture, says the government of the Gambia is ever committed to provide support to vulnerable people in the country.
The government of the Gambia, through the Ministry of Agriculture, initiated a rapid assessment with a strong and close collaboration with the United Nations World Food Programme and the Food and Agricultural Organization on the effect of COVID-19 outbreak on agricultural livelihoods. Assessment report was generated and disseminated among partners and key stakeholders. The response plan to mitigate the impact of the pandemic on the food and nutrition status of the most vulnerable population and build their resilience. This response plan has since been rolled out with resilience building package such as seeds, fertilizer, plowing services, and farm equipment.
The COVID-19 pandemic has worsened the food and nutrition security status of the most vulnerable people in the country. The World Food Programme Country Director, Mr. Yasuro Sumura, says the support is meant to curb the impact brought by COVID-19 pandemic.
Let us note that this distribution is a targeted emergency assistance with a fixed amount of precious resources. This will address the acute needs of the most vulnerable groups for 4 months. If the ration is shared with other people without targeting, the assistance will be diluted with little impact, and the most vulnerable will be penalized. In the second year of COVID-19 pandemic, we are facing a combination of emergency and development challenges that would require multi-sectoral and multi-stakeholder interventions cutting across government, development partners, the private sector, and the civil society.
The government of the Gambia and its partners reiterates its commitment in the fight against food and nutrition insecurity and building resilience against all shocks, including COVID-19. The country currently has 4,469 COVID-19 confirmed cases with 138 deaths. For iAfrica News, I am Daisy.
The Gambia government and partners provide a temporary food relief package to 300,000 people in rural households. Now, from that temporary suspension of political and social activities throughout the country by the borough's administration, we now move to the matters of the weather. Powerful dust has overwhelmed the Gambia as a result of a haze coming from the Sahara Desert on Wednesday. The high dust density of the off-white color-tinted air was seen across the country, which can have grave impact on health and the aviation system. Our reporter Sohna Tunkara visited the Banjul International Airport to see how they have been affected by the haze, and this is her report.
The weather phenomenon does not just bring warm temperature, but it also raises sun and dust, and as a result affects the aviation system. Haze dust caused by heavy winds is coming northeastern from the Sahara Desert to the Gambia. In such circumstances, the aviation system suffers greatly as it suppresses horizontal visibility. These could even lead to plane crashes and other deadly outcomes when the haze thickens. In an interview with the head of the Focus Office at the Banjul International Airport, who prefers anonymity, says it's the coronavirus pandemic that overshadows the effect of this swing on Gambia's aviation system.
Due to the COVID and its problems, we're not having much flights, especially during the day. So you will not have that much impact on aviation, or you will not feel that there's impact so much on aviation. But if we're having normal routines and then flights are coming, you would see impact, because in busier aerodromes where you have a lot of aircrafts, dust haze affects visibility. That's how far you can see horizontally. So if it affects that, it gets to a point, you would see that flights will be cancelled. Aerodromes would deem it fit to cancel flights coming into the aerodrome, because it would not be safe. It will not be safe, especially in busier aerodromes, because flights would be crossing paths. Some are taking off, some are landing on different routes, so they may crash because they are not seeing clearly.
Haze is a harmful weather factor to aviation during busy period. If the haze thickens significantly, some flights are even called off or diverted to other countries.
Dust would occur, but in the rainy seasons, it's almost rare. In the rainy season, it's rare, because usually we get dust in this Hamatan or our dry season. Usually we get winds. This is the time we get winds coming northeasterly. That is winds coming from the northeastern sector of the continent. And up there in the north, we have the Sahel. Within the Sahel, there is a big desert, as we all know, and it's a major dust source region. That's where the dust gets lifted. So at this time of the year, there are systems like the pressure cells, high pressure cells, and so the mid-latitude, those are the ones which, when it drops down over the Sahel, up to Mauritania, it will instigate, when it passes. After that, when you are monitoring, you can see dust racing. And then the high pressure cells now, when they extend way down over Mauritania and the Sahel region, you see dust would be raised over that end. So now after that, you now look at the winds that are propagating from there. Especially we have these hectopascal levels, we call the 925 level. Look at winds at that place. If those strong winds are very strong, up 20 to 30 knots or more, and then they are northeasterly propagating from that end towards us, you expect it to bring along the dust that was raised around that Sahel over the desert.
The haze storm is caused by a strong wind that blow in a high concentration of sand and dust particles from the Sahara Desert. However, systems are put in place to monitor the wind trajectories.
The wind trajectories and this high pressure cell I've told you of, and then the mid-latitude trough. The mid-latitude trough coming dropping all the way up to the Sahel region, and so over us, we'll now look at those features because we get systems that will be forecasting the position of those things for us.
Forecasts indicate it could last for at least 4 days before the dust settles off, meaning This could affect countries covered by the Sahara Desert to have delay or disruption in flights before everything goes back to normalcy. For Africa TV News, Sohna Tunkara.
Powerful dust there has overwhelmed the Gambia as a result of a gaze coming from the Sahara Desert, which can have grave impact on health and the aviation system. From that, we go straight to matters of the COVID-19 in the country. Gambia's Ministry of Health on Wednesday has recorded 55 new COVID-19 cases between 12 to 15 February 2021, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 4,469. Most of these confirmed positive cases were on the verge of traveling outside the country. With no new deaths recorded, the total number of deaths remains at 138. A total of 652 new laboratory tests were recently received from the Medical Research Council and National Public Health Laboratory, according to the latest report from the health authorities. 11 COVID-19 patients were newly discharged from the treatment centers, taking the total number of recoveries to 3,912. The country currently has no one in quarantine, 419 active cases, and a crude case fatality ratio of 3.1. Now that COVID update will take us to a short break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
As the Gambia clocks 56 on 18th February 2021, your favorite Pan-African TV channel continues its dedication to bringing the greatest independence insights for you. Join us as we cover exclusively the historic events marking the end of colonial rule in Africa. Do not miss the full coverage, in-depth analysis, and reviews from 1965 to date, live on iAfrica TV. iAfrica TV, your Pan-African TV channel.
Welcome back, and now to the rest of the news. The National Agency Against Trafficking in Persons (NATIP) failed to appear before the National Assembly Public Enterprise Committee to present its activity report and financial statement from 2016 to 2019 after being summoned by the Public Enterprise Committee. Halifa Saleh, chairperson of the Enterprise Committee, emphasized the need for public institutions to submit their reports, noting that the National Assembly may not be a court, but its committees have the power to summon all institutions to provide answers on its engagements as outlined in Section 3.
When a letter is sent by the committee, is really summoning the individual to appear. It is not simply an invitation, it's stronger than an invitation. And it is important that all institutions see the letters as really being, in a way, instructed to come. Because failing to do that, one can move into being in contempt of the National Assembly. We do not want to issue threats. We would want to serve the public interest through collaboration and not through coercion.
Now, NATIP is expected to reappear before the PEC to present its activity report and the financial statement for the year end 2017, 18, and 19 respectively on Monday, 22nd February 2021. Now, Gambia marks 56 years of national at a ceremony to be held on Thursday at the Makati Square in Banjul. This year's celebration will be observed on a low key amid COVID-19 pandemic, said the president in a statement released earlier. iAfrica TV went to the ground to see the level of preparedness ahead of the celebration. In an interview with our reporter Binti Jallo, the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the President said preparedness are on its high gears.
As you can see, the stage is being set up. The workers are on it, and the parade also, the security came in the morning. They've been doing their rehearsals, they've done their rehearsals, they all know where to position, and all that has been done. As you can see, like your media house and other media houses, we expect them by later in the evening will be setting up to ensure that they all take their positions. In terms of the accreditation, the cards are also ready, and we are distributing them. And there's a lot of requests. But one thing we have made sure is to make sure that we did the accreditation as expected. We made the announcement, invited the media, and those who responded, based on that, we were able to do the logistics. And even though others are appealing to be able to have the accreditation cards, unfortunately, that's what we are able to do for this year. I hope that next year they will respond on time so that we take along all the logistical requirements that we need to put in place.
Gambia will turn 56 in few hours as preparations are set for the low-key celebration to be held at the Makati Square in Banjul. That will take us to the end of the news here on iAfrica TV. I was your presenter, Mariama Cham. Happy Independence in advance and do have a good night.
As the Gambia clocks 56 on 18th February